Right, Maha Sri Yaga is Maha. It's the gigantic, the huge. And so there's so many layers to this practice, so many different dates, so many different segments, that it's hard just to get a clear snapshot of what it is. What is my role as a practitioner in this big group practice? So on one hand, it is huge, but also on another hand, it really is much more simple, much more essential than all of that together. On one hand, Maha Sri Yaga is a Sri Sukta retreat. Everybody that is part of Maha Sri Yaga will be practicing Sri Sukta. And that is the only prerequisite for participating, is practice of Sri Sukta. And there's ample time for people to still learn Sri Sukta who have not even started that practice in order to join us for Maha Sri Yaga. The main practice of Maha Sri Yaga is 20 recitations of Sri Sukta a day as a group. And that's it, with lots of time for personal practice, for reflection, for spending time in the spiritually charged environment of the Ajay Khajuraho campus, which is truly one of my favorite places on earth. It's fantastic because it's all tailor-made to allow us to be supported and to go deep into practice. But there's many opportunities to take that main practice of Maha Sri Yaga, 20 recitations a day, and add on based on an individual's experience and prerequisites of having different layers of practice of Sri Sukta. So a participant can choose on their own, in addition to the 20 recitations a day, could take those 20 recitations a day and start before or continue after and do a stage 1 practice, which is 800 recitations of Sri Sukta in either 40 or 80 days. 20 recitations a day for 40 days or 10 recitations a day for 80 days. Additionally, practitioners who have already completed a stage 1 practice can do a Sri Sukta stage 2 at Maha Sri Yaga. And we've been offering these stage 2 practices for a while now in an 11-day format, which is 800 recitations in 11 days. But at Maha Sri Yaga, the practices are 16 days. So it's spread out over a little bit more time, meaning the number of recitations a day to do that stage 2 practice is a little less. You do the 20 with the group and then 30 on your own every day. And then at the end of your Maha Sri Yaga session, you'll have done a stage 1. And all of this is possible because of the anchoring forces of the tradition. Of course, Panditji, who is the visionary behind this grand practice, and a group of at least 100, we have over 100 dedicated, experienced practitioners of Sri Sukta who are forming the anchor of this practice. And so some people will be doing specialty practices within all of this to hold the anchoring force, so that everybody can show up and contribute their practice where they are, whether that's simply the 20 recitations a day with the group is plenty. It's wonderful. That is the main practice of Maha Sri Yaga. Or perhaps to go a little deeper and to combine that with a stage 1 or a stage 2 practice. At its heart, Maha Sri Yaga is a Sri Sukta retreat. This is a retreat for Sri Suktis, who are people who are practicing Sri Sukta, to come and spend an extended time in the spiritually charged space of Khajuraho doing Sri Sukta sadhana. And the main practice of Sri Sukta involves 20 recitations a day as a group in the shrine. And this will be a really wonderful daily practice. And then an evening havan every single day for a 16-day period of time. And depending on a practitioner's experience and aptitude and willingness, there are additional options to go a little deeper into more formal practices of Sri Sukta that you can add on top of the main practice of Maha Sri Yaga. So Maha Sri Yaga is a 6-month-long practice broken down into 6 practice segments that are each 16 days long. So on one hand, it is this big 6-month-long practice, but participants only come for 1 or 2 or maybe 3 sessions within that. It's not required that people come for the whole 6 months. Thankfully, Panditji, who's holding the space of this practice, will be there for the duration and gives the continuity of practice. But it's even larger than Panditji himself. The sage Dakshinamurti is holding all of this in a much larger container that is not limited by 6 months. That is just a practicality, perhaps, of how this practice has been defined. I think that we've been building to this practice for much longer than that. Even that 6 months haven't started, but I feel like we're very much in the Maha Sri Yaga practice. Going back to when we did Rudra Yaga in 2019, I feel like there is a very clear energetic thread starting from there, leading to something big. Perhaps Maha Sri Yaga is the end of that. Perhaps Maha Sri Yaga is only the end of a chapter before the beginning of another chapter of practice, of life. I don't know. So these 6 months, that's how the practice is arranged, but that's not necessarily the totality of what Maha Sri Yaga is. What Maha Sri Yaga is about the practice that we all put in to build this collective consciousness that we all desire, we all want to see manifest in the world. The Himalayan Institute's campus in Khajuraho is truly one of my favorite places on earth. It's like the wild, wild west of India. It's rural India. It's not in a city, so there's all sorts of interesting birds and wildlife, and you see the stars, and it just feels like you're in this otherworldly place. And it is really special in a way that I don't know how to describe it, but I think everybody who's been there feels exactly the same way. It touches everybody on a really personal level. Of course, there's the Sri Vidya Shrine in Khajuraho, and which is a very special shrine where practice is effortless. It is the epitome of quietude, that shrine. And there's many other sanctified sacred places around campus, including 2 lovely grottos under banyan trees, and lots of little nooks and crannies where you can find space to reflect, to do practice outdoors, and also go on walks. There's lots of hiking trails. It's situated in next to a national forest, and there you can go hiking in the mountains, and and the pace of life while on retreat at Khajuraho is often a bit slower than here in our normal life, but it's really centered around practice. So we tend to get up early. Chai is served at 5:30 every morning, so you can get a nice hot cup of chai. The milk for the chai is from our cows and buffalo that live on campus and eat all the grains that we grow on campus. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner are just wholesome, delicious meals. We have poha for breakfast every day, which is my personal favorite. And then there's often practicums and opportunities for guided walks on or off campus. Also sometimes a town trip. Other things that are added into the day to have some cultural experiences off campus while we're there. But of course, it's also just really lovely to stay on campus and dedicate oneself to practice, because that's what Khajuraho is really all about. Lots has gone in to host this Maha Sri Yaga practice at Khajuraho, including building a whole new building for more guest accommodations, an indoor lecture hall, new library, extra covered seating on porches, which is really important to be able to host everybody to come. But the buildings, the infrastructure is just there as a support to the real the heart of Maha Sri Yaga, which is the practitioners who are showing up to do this sadhana together. Everything that we've done on campus is in support so that people can show up and have a comfortable stay and be supported so they can go deeper into their practice. Many of us have been practicing Sri Sukta for years, and what is it that keeps drawing us to do another round of formal practice, to keep doing a stage 1, to keep doing a stage 2 over and over again, to keep coming back every day on our cushion and recite these potent, wonderful, loving mantras? For me, the experience of Sri Sukta is a fractal rose that just keeps blossoming, and as it opens from the inside comes new leaves. As the leaves fall away, they're replaced with something new, and this is a perpetual motion of this practice, revealing itself one layer of subtlety at a time. And so what will I get out of Maha Sri Yaga? I don't know what I will get out of Maha Sri Yaga, but everything that, every practice of Sri Sukta that I've undertaken has given so much richness. And so I'm quite sure that that will be true for Maha Sri Yaga, which is even bigger than anything that we've undertaken before. And I'm here for it.